Welcome back, folks. We have a special guest with us on this week's show as well, and we're going to find a lot out about a company called Meshminder, and we have the president with us this week. His name is Frank Fortino. Frank, welcome to SportsBeat. Nice to have you with us here.
Thank you, nice to meet you.
And we're going to really get into this because I find this very interesting, being, I hate to say this, an old goaltender myself, but if I don't say
well,
that, Colin will.
The truth is.
Yeah. So, Colin, why don't you start off here, and we'll go from there, right? Okay.
Thanks, Lowell. Welcome to the show, Frank.
Thanks, Colin.
Maybe you can give us a little bit of a background on Meshminder.
Yeah, I play recreational hockey, and one of the biggest problems we had every week was, finding that goaltender. And it really is not a lot of fun to play with an empty net. So we would rent a goalie. And we were paying in upwards of, $35, $40 an hour for a goalie. As I said, it wasn't so much the money that was the problem. It was, trying to find someone, and the whole process of telephoning and leaving messages and everything. So I thought, there's got to be an easier way to do this. So what I've done is basically take the internet and leverage the technology there to allow goalies and referees and players to go in. They can enter a profile where they can basically define their skill set, where they're willing to play, the times that they're willing to play, and their hourly rate. And once they've created that profile in Meshminder, requesters can come in, and as they place requests that match that profile, they'll be notified via email, and then technology kind of kicks in and automates the whole thing on the back end using workflow, and it sends messages, confirmation messages back and forth. The requester and service provider can communicate through the tool, and that's pretty much it. There's no human intervention whatsoever.
Well, I have to relate to this because, and I am a goaltender. I played all my life, but I had to stop 4 years ago because I had some eye operations, and it's pretty serious when the guys on the bench are hollering the puck's 5 feet in front of you. Lol, you better get it. Anyways, I got a call a couple of weeks ago from somebody that is in it's a recreational league, but it's an old timers league, wanting to know if I would come out and play hockey, that particular night. But little did they know that I haven't played for 4 years, and I can relate to that, and I'm sure they can too, because here's a guy spending his time trying to line me up to come down to play in Richmond Hill, not playing for 4 years. He's wasted his time. Not that I didn't mind talking to him, but I can relate to what he was going through, trying to find somebody to fill that spot for that particular game. So it sounds to me like it's something that's been well needed for a long time. Right?
Absolutely, and the response has been tremendous. We're getting registrants from anywhere from St. John's all the way to Victoria, and then as far south as Dallas and Phoenix. So it's been fantastic. I mean, originally the concept was, the Toronto area, Greater Toronto area, thinking, this is kind of local here, but Calgary, Edmonton, all over Canada, all over the States. It's been phenomenal. So, one of the things we thought was going to be the biggest challenge was to get goalies and referees to sign up as service providers. Not the case at all. What we're challenged with now is getting the word out and telling people Meshminder is here. Place a request. It's absolutely free, and it's just a kind of social networking tool that brings people together to play the game. So it's
that's fantastic. What an idea! And you're
a great idea.
You're the guy behind this, are you?
Yeah. I like to say that.
Your background is in the.
Well, my background is in technology.
Okay.
I've been in technology for 14 years now, but I've been also playing recreational hockey for about 15 years, and religiously with a bunch of friends, summer and winter. We've been playing now the same group of guys, the same problem over and over, right? And spending a lot of money on goalies, and we thought, hey, why don't I do this and see what we can come up with? And sure enough, I actually used the service myself because I thought, hey, I've got to test this thing to make sure it works. So we told the goalies that were going to come that week, hey guys, take a break, you can play out, or just take a break this week. And sure enough, I was able to find a goalie for $5. And he was tremendous. He played amazing. And the reason he was willing to play for $5 is he lived across the street from the arena, and he just wanted to play.
There you are.
So it was a perfect scenario. And he was, I thought I was a little scared about the caliber that we would get, and it was phenomenal. Which, by the way, the other thing that Meshminder does is once the player has played for you, you can evaluate them very, very similar to the way eBay works. I don't know if you're familiar with that, but you can specify, were they on time, were they courteous, Were they actually capable of playing at the level they said they were? And obviously that's a very subjective thing. So what we do is we average out the responses from all the requesters. So the more you play, your average kind of tells the tale of truly the caliber that you're capable of playing at. So it's a pretty neat concept.
One of the questions you ask after on the survey is, do you drink pop? And we won't go any further on that one,
we've got
okay?
about 100-character free-form text box. You can enter whatever you want there. We kind of, we wash our hands of
because
that.
we all know playing recreational hockey or old times hockey or whatever, that part of the fun is sitting in the dressing room after and telling tales, you know,
Yeah,
over a
absolutely.
bottle of pop. And
Absolutely.
so I thought I'd just throw that in, you know.
Yeah. We try to stay away from that. But,
I'm
you know,
sure you do,
obviously.
Yeah. Frank, one of the questions I have here now, we're dealing with the Aurora Oak Ridges area here. If somebody in Aurora Oak Ridges wanted to contact Meshminder, they would then be there. You would have them, the people, geographically set out in different areas throughout the province or the country. I
Yeah,
should say.
it's very complex on the back end. The front end is very simple, and I'll explain it. Basically, you'd come into meshminder.com, you'd enter your address. Now you can enter your home address, your work address, whatever you want. Your email, obviously, which is critical because that's the way we communicate with you. But once you've defined your address and you've confirmed your address on a map, because in some cases you've got a new subdivision, right? The address isn't recognized. You would actually physically confirm it. Once you've done that, you specify the distance you're willing to travel. And the site itself draws a radius around your home.
I see.
And basically what it does is it takes all the arenas in that radius and it adds it to your profile. So now anyone that places a request for that arena on your list, you'll be notified, assuming it's for the same rate and skill set and all that. So
Amazing. Yeah.
very simple to use, yeah.
Yeah, but simple, but it's very important, really, isn't it? I mean, it works out well for
Yeah.
everybody. Then.
Well, and like I said, there's that I know of 4 or 5 rent-a-goalie services out there that, they do a great job, but it's such a manual process, and that's why, they've got to add their little bit to the fees because they've got to make the telephone calls and it's back and forth, and there's no human intervention at all here. So that's what allows us to kind of say, hey, whatever the goalie wants, they get. We kind of wash our hands of the whole fee structure.
Isn't that amazing? Yeah.
It's easy. It's nice you can say that there's no fees involved. So how do you stay in business?
Well, that's a good question. We're really, kind of that new business model of building that online social network.
Okay.
Amassing that great audience of hockey lovers, no matter what,
Then which there's
age.
a lot of. Yep.
Yeah, and the real demographic there, you're talking about 20 to 55-year-old males.
Yep.
It's a perfect demographic for advertisers and things like that. And I'm sure a lot of the business opportunities will come out of
it, yeah.
as, because we encourage our users to actually send us feedback and tell us how we can improve the site. So we expect that a lot of great ideas will come out of that. I mean, one of the ones that already has surfaced is, we've got a goalie mask artist who wants to advertise on the site, right? Because it's the perfect place to advertise, right? You got a bunch of goalies there, and so it's a specific service. Hockey camps, training camps, things like that. So in the off season, you've got somewhere to go and kind of hone your skills if you want.
Sure.
So it's we expect that once we gain that mass, that it'll start to pick up speed and momentum. At least I'm hoping so. It worked for YouTube and
Well, obviously, if it's basically countrywide now. I mean, people from all over have bought into this or are having a look at it. So, is there any kind of a? Do you ever figure you're going to have to put a stop to registration of goaltenders? And is it referees too? You said
Referees
and
as well,
referees
yeah.
as well.
Yeah.
Do you figure you'll ever get to that capacity limit that you can't take anymore, or?
It's really hard to say. I mean, I know some of the statistics. There's apparently 1.5 million recreational hockey games played in Canada every year. So I'm thinking there's got to be a real balance of supply and demand out there. Yeah. For every goalie that's willing to play, there's got to be at least 1 or 2 games out there of people requesting goalies. So that's yet to be seen. We've tried to stay away from any kind of regulation. I mean, when we first launched, one of the goalies said, you guys should really be regulating the price and setting it at a certain fee because, we'd like to kind of let the market decide where that all goes. Because like I said, if somebody's out there that wants to play for $5 or $10 and he lives right next to the arena, can walk there. We don't want to regulate that. We don't want to set the pricing. So,
but there are people out there that want to play for the enjoyment of being maybe just being a goaltender as often as they can
guy.
a referee.
yeah,
that's right.
I mean, you can play for free if you want. It's really there's no predetermined amount at all.
Yeah. And there's no limit on what it's determined between the team and the Is it determined before the guy goes to meet the team?
The way it works is the goaltender, when they create their, or referee for that matter, when they create their profile, they say, what's my hourly rate? How much would I like to make?
I see.
We've added an extra feature where you can actually define your premium hourly rate. And that's a little different. That's, hey, look, I'm willing to play up to 11 o'clock at night, but midnight, I'll play, but I'll play for an extra $10. So they can even define that amount.
Yeah.
So then now when a requester comes in and says, the maximum I'm willing to pay is $50,
Yes.
and there's goalies out there that are charging 30, 40, it'll match up any of them, and whichever responds first basically gets the
Isn't that
job.
amazing? Yeah. Now, you also mentioned earlier that there are some female goaltenders registered as well?
Yeah, actually.
Because I know this guy here coaches a senior girls hockey team. That's probably why you wonder how he knew all about all this stuff. But how about young ladies, women that are, is that?
Again, surprisingly, there's been a great response. We've got girls signing up, or ladies signing up from the U.S. as far down as Dallas, up to Calgary. We've got some people up in Yellowknife signed up. So it's pretty broad spectrum. Obviously, the ratio it's a lot less than the males signing up, but we haven't excluded by any means. It's a growing kind of demographic for hockey, and we don't want to ignore that.
Girls hockey, I know in this area, is just mushroomed. It's unbelievable.
Yeah,
and I'm sure that, we're just talking our area. What's it like across Canada? It must be fantastic.
Yeah,
So that's
absolutely.
super. Yeah.
Sounds like you've got a good deal going there. How do you how many hits do you get on this on a day? Do you
We're averaging about 10,000 right now per day, which isn't too bad because we've only been out for 5 weeks. So kind of the word's slowly getting out there, and you kind of see the usage statistics gradually climbing. We hope by next fall to be going full-fledged, about 200,000 hits a day. We kind of caught it on the tail end of the season as well.
Sure.
We did that purposely. We wanted to get it out there. We wanted to start spreading the word over the summer so that by fall, people are familiar with it and can start actually using the service. Not to say that it can't be used in the summer. The other idea that's been kind of posed to us by our users is, why don't you extend this to ball hockey leagues?
Oh, yeah.
Same thing. You're looking
Same
for a
thing,
goalie or referee for ball hockey. So that's a perfect kind of medium for the summer season. Yeah.
But Frank, is there ever a stop to hockey and to ice hockey? I mean, it's almost a 12-month a year. Like the season almost goes 12 months now. I mean, there's summer hockey. Everybody's playing summer hockey. So I don't think you really are going to be able to limit that to.
You're absolutely right. As I said, I've been playing for about 14, 15 years. There's less ice in the summertime because a lot of the rinks, they melt it down and they do whatever with it. Yeah, but absolutely, there's still hockey being played in the summer. So
that fill-in could be the ball hockey.
Yeah, sure.
Isn't that amazing?
Yeah.
And the next thing could be lacrosse. Hey,
get over more and more?
I'm not looking for any royalties on this, but I'm just suggesting, because lacrosse has become a very, very big sport, and I know in York Region, and I'm sure across again in Toronto, GTA has a lot of teams in that. So there's always that thought as well. So yeah.
Yeah,
amazing.
absolutely. I don't want to burst your bubble, but we've started thinking about other sports as well, kind of the real concept of it is to build that virtual playground. You've got people that are 30, 40, 50 something at home that want to play. They still enjoy playing. They just don't have the place to meet people to play.
Yeah,
so we thought, use the internet to do that,
Yeah.
and get the guys out there and exercising, and it's good for all. So
yeah, I think that's great. Let's talk about the referees for a minute. We're talking basically about goaltenders here, okay? But there are referees out there that are watching the show, I'm sure, and maybe you'll get a few registrations from them. But is it the same principle with them? Like everything works the same way for a referee? About contacting and that, but what about payment? Will they have a different pay schedule?
No, it works exactly the same way as it does for goalies. We've had less referees sign up, but what we're hoping again is when the league season kind of picks up again, a lot of leagues sometimes at the last minute need a referee because somebody cancels or does whatever, they can't make it. So it's a great tool to have to say, hey, look, I need a referee at this rink, and this is the league level that they're playing at. Usually the hourly rates, I guess, are set. So it's a good mechanism to request that referee.
Well, that sounds like you've got both areas covered. Let's talk a bit about these sweaters, these lovely sweaters they're seeing. I don't know the guys can pick it up here on camera, but of course you see the blue and white over there with Mr. Graham, who's a Maple Leaf fan. He'll even hold it up. What's the story behind these? Now, you mentioned that they're not issued right now, but they will be eventually, or something?
Yeah, well, the reason we made these, the real reason we made these is Global TV is actually going to be shooting a story in Montreal. They're quite interested in the whole concept of Meshminder, and they want to shoot a story. So we're actually bringing a team from Toronto to play a team in Montreal, a rec team.
Oh, yeah.
And they're going to be kind of covering that whole story.
Good.
And we're going to rent the goalies through Meshminder to kind of, and the referees through Meshminder to kind of just complete the whole cycle to show how the system's working.
How it works, yeah.
So that's why we got these created. But
Yeah.
the long-term goal is to send these out to the goalies that do register. So we're just waiting for that kind of popularity to kind of take off, and then we're going to
Just another stage to the program
Yeah.
that has to come in. Yeah,
Absolutely.
So that's very interesting.
And it's
yeah.
pretty easy to size it, right? It's the
Yeah.
XXXL. And
So have you done any other TV shows before this one? Or?
No, this is the first one.
We are pioneers again, eh?
Yeah.
Well, that's good because I'm glad we're ahead of global anyway. So I always like to be ahead of the big
Is I not supposed to
city,
mention them or something?
Well, Frank, this is very interesting, and I know that the folks out there are going to be interested in what you said here. But can you? Maybe they didn't pick this up, but could you give your address, your email address, your web address?
Yeah, it's meshminder.com, meshminder.com. .ca works in case you type it incorrectly, and that's basically it. All the information's there. It's very simple to use. At least that's what our users tell us. It's simple as clicking the Join Now button, and off you go. No credit cards, no fees, no hidden fees, no nothing.
I think that's the important thing is no hidden fees.
Yeah,
I like that.
We're not interested in any way of dinging the people that are using the system.
No.
We encourage people to use the system and provide their feedback. That's the key to it.
Well, this is so interesting. I'm really glad you came up. You came from Burlington.
Burlington, yeah.
All the way from Burlington, folks, just to do this interview. And I'll tell you, we appreciate that very much. That's great. And I don't know that you can ever tell us this eventually. You've got my email address, but I would really be interested if you got an onslaught of registrations from York Region.
Absolutely. Yeah,
I'd really like to hear if, whether it's referees or goaltenders, are you getting many from Newmarket, Aurora, Richmond Hill, or whatever the area that we...
I'd be glad to follow up with you. I'll send you
Love
something in a
that.
couple.
Yeah,
I
that's
would imagine in a couple weeks we should be. How many viewers do you have? Millions?
Oh,
Yeah, right.
pretty close to that. Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. We're piping into Toronto. Yeah, right. Yeah. No, we've got quite a few of them. But anyways, being told to wrap this thing up. Okay. Frank, I want to thank you very much. Frank, again,
Thank you
folks.
all.
Frank Fortino. He's
Frank,
the
thanks
president
very
of
much for
Meshminder, a very interesting group that's involved with sports. And we'll leave it at that. If you want to contact him, he's giving you the email address, and we could probably put it on the screen as well, and get yourself involved. So thanks very much for watching this part of the show. And we're going to take a very short break and be back in a moment. Stay tuned.